Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to talk about the least common multiple, which is also sometimes called the lowest common multiple. First, we're going to talk about the meaning of it, break down the words, and then we're going to show an example of how to do it. And then, most importantly, we're going to talk about the reason we do this. All right, because everything we do in math has a reason, so we'll see why we had the least common multiple. So, first off, let's break down the word and figure out the meaning of this thing. The first word we have is least or lowest, all right? And that basically means the smallest. Smallest. Okay, so we right off the bat, we know we're looking for the smallest of something, okay? And then we have the word common. And common means things that they share. So, for example, me and my brother both have brown hair. So, in common, we have brown hair. All right? And then we have the word multiple. Multiple basically means the answer to a multiplication problem. So answer to multiplication problem. All right? So here's what we're looking for. We're looking for the smallest answer to a multiplication problem that that numbers share. All right? But before we go a little bit further, let's look at multiple. So we're going to take the number 4. Okay. If we want to know multiples of 4, we're just basically checking multiplication problems. So the first multiple of 4 would be 4 times 1, which equals 4. The second multiple of 4 would be 4 times 2, which equals 8. The third multiple would be 4 times 3, which gives us 12. And keep on going and going, and we could say, well, the 10th multiple of 4 would be 4 times 10, which gives us 40. Okay, so that's what multiple is all about. So let's look at an example of how to do this. Let's say we're trying to find the lowest common multiple of 3 and 5. Okay. So right off the bat, we have 3 and 5. We're going to look at the first multiple of each, which is 3 times 1 gives us 3. 5 times 1 gives us 5. All right? Now, when we're trying to find the least common multiple, you always want to you want to check the next multiple of the smallest number. All right? So, for example, we have 3 and 5. 3 is smaller than 5, so we're going to check the next multiple of 3. So the second multiple of 3 is 3 times 2, which gives us 6. All right, now we have 6 and we have 5. 5 is smaller than 6, so we're going to check the next multiple of 5. 5 times 2 equals 10. All right, now we have 6 and 10. They're not the same, but we see that 6 is smaller than 10. So we're going to check the next multiple of 3. So 3 times 3 equals 9. All right. Now they're still not the same, and 9 is smaller than 10, so we're going to check the next multiple of 3. So now we're up to the fourth multiple. 3 times 4 equals 12. All right. Now 12 is bigger than 10, so we're looking at the next multiple right here, which is 5 times 3 equals 15. All right. Now, once again, 12 and 15, they're not the same. So we're going to check the next multiple of 3 because 12 is smaller than 15. So we go 3 times 5 equals 15. And we look, and we have two answers that are exactly the same. So we found the common multiple, and it's the very first one. So therefore, it's the least. It's the smallest one. So the lowest common multiple of 3 and 5 equals 15. So that's essentially what we're doing. Now, one thing I want to make sure you understand is the reason we're saying least instead of just common multiple is because you can keep on going. All right? So if you were to keep on going, you would say, well, 3 times 10, so the 10th multiple of 3, is equal to 30. and then you could keep going with 5, and then you would see the sixth multiple of 5, so 5 times 6 is 30. So these two are the same, but it's not the smallest one, which is where that least comes in. You have to have the smallest. So the very first time they're the same. And once again, the reason you want to go with the smallest number first instead of just listing out a bunch of multiples for each one is that this will ensure that you always get it and you don't accidentally skip over it, because that's a very common thing. Students just list out multiples and they miss the first one by mistake. Okay, so that's an example of how to do it. Now we're looking at the reason we have it, the most important thing. So in the world we live in, you have things that repeat itself, and if you have different things that repeat, at some point they're going to be the same. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's suppose we're looking at a star. We have a star in space, and you have 2 planets. So there's 2 planets. Okay? And this first planet rotates around the star, like it goes a full circle, every, we'll say, 3 years. 3 years. Alright, so that's how long it takes the first planet to go around. The second one, it takes, we'll say, well, we'll go 4 years. It takes 4 years for that second planet to go around the star. Now the question is, we want to know when they will be at the same spot. When are they at the same spot? And if we know how to do the least common multiple, we will find out how long it's going to take for them to be in the same exact spot. So we have 3 and 4. So we're finding the lowest common multiple of 3 and 4. Alright, so we're starting off, listing them out. The first multiple of each, 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 1 is 4. Okay, so we're going to list out the multiples to see when they're the same. So 3 is smaller than 4, so we're checking the next multiple. 3 times 2 equals 6. And 6 is bigger than 4, so we check the next multiple. So 4 times 2 equals 8. 6 is smaller than 8, so we're going to check the next multiple of 3. 3 times 3 equals 9. 8 is smaller than 9, so we're going to check the next multiple of 4. 4 times 3 equals 12. Okay, and 9 is smaller than 12, so we're checking the next multiple of 3. So 3 times 4 equals 12. And we found it right here. We have the same answers. So here's what this means. When we have this star, and we have the 2 different planets, every 12 years, they will be at the exact same spot. And that is why we do the lowest common multiple, to find out when the very first time they will be at the same spot. Now remember, they're going in different rates. So since we know that it's 12 years that they're going, the next time, so they're going to continue going at different rates, right? The next time that they're going to be in the same spot will be in another 12 years. Which will be a total of 24 years. So every 12 years, they're going to be in the same spot. And that's the whole point of the least common multiple. Now you can use it for other things, like say you're stacking boxes, right? And say one size box is 2 feet tall, and the other size box is 3 feet tall. Well, if you find the lowest common multiple, you'll find the height at which they'll each stack, like say you're stacking them, right? You'll find the total height that they'll all be the same. All right? Which in this case, if we're doing the lowest common multiple of 2 and 3, well, we would have 2 and 3, which is 2 times 1 gives us 2. 3 times 1 gives us 3. And then we check the next multiple of 2. 2 times 2 equals 4. And then 3 smaller than 4, so 3 times 2 equals 6. And then 4 is smaller than 6, so 2 times 3 equals 6. And we found it. 6. So if we were to stack this 2-foot one, forgive my drawing, it's kind of crappy, but if we have it, that'll be 6 feet if we have 3 of them. And then if I drew these exactly perfectly, then if we have 2 of these boxes, that'll also be 6 feet. Okay, so that's the whole point of lowest common multiple. Anyways, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. And all right, have a good one.